Have you ever questioned why some people experience peace and liberation as they grow older, while others feel confined in their relationships? The reality is that aging with a partner isn't always the blessing people assume it to be. In fact, for many individuals, it slowly turns into an invisible burden, depleting their energy, restricting their freedom, and adding unnecessary stress to their later years. If you've ever felt that sustaining a relationship at this stage in life takes more than it gives, you are far from alone. In this video, we will explore 5 crucial reasons why having a partner in old age can sometimes make life more difficult rather than easier. But here's the key point. Understanding these reasons doesn't mean you should reject companionship entirely. Rather, it's about having the wisdom to see the bigger picture and making choices that genuinely enhance your well-being. Stick with me until the end because what we're about to discuss might completely reshape the way you perceive relationships in your later years. Before we start, we ask you to like the video and leave a comment to help the channel grow. Subscribe and activate the notification bell to stay updated on our content. Now let's begin. Number 1. The emotional strain of constant compromise. As you age, your ability to endure unnecessary stress diminishes. However, being in a relationship often demands ongoing compromise. When you're younger, it may seem natural to adjust your habits, preferences, and even aspirations for the sake of harmony. But as time passes, you start to realize that the sacrifices you make don't always justify the peace you lose. Everyday decisions, what to eat, where to go, how to spend your time, can spiral into never-ending discussions, sapping your energy and leaving you emotionally drained. Take Robert, for instance, a 74-year-old man who spent decades accommodating his wife's needs, only to recognize that his own desires had been sidelined for years. Now, in his later years, all he wants is to enjoy his mornings in quiet solitude, but his wife insists on blaring the television as soon as she wakes up. Small conflicts like these accumulate over time, transforming what was once a loving partnership into a string of exhausting compromises. The truth is, at a certain point in life, you shouldn't feel obligated to prioritize someone else's every preference at the expense of your own happiness. Many people in relationships find themselves trapped in emotional patterns, constantly managing their partner's feelings, offering reassurances, apologizing, and adapting. But in old age, the weight of these responsibilities can feel heavier than ever. Instead of relishing your days freely, you may find yourself still caught in the cycle of ensuring your partner's satisfaction, even at your own expense. The hard truth? A relationship that drains your emotional energy in old age is no longer one that serves you. At this stage of life, peace of mind should be your ultimate priority. Yet many remain in relationships out of familiarity rather than true fulfillment, unaware of how much lighter life could feel if they simply allowed themselves to step away from the pressure of constant compromise. Number 2. The erosion of true independence. One of the greatest rewards of aging is finally having the freedom to live life on your own terms. After decades of obligations, raising children, working tirelessly, and maintaining relationships, you've earned the right to do as you please. However, being in a relationship often means that your choices remain tethered to someone else's expectations, habits, and desires. You might believe you're savoring your golden years together, but in reality, you could be sacrificing the very thing that makes this stage of life truly enriching: complete independence. Consider Frank, a 78-year-old man who dedicated his life to being a devoted husband. After his wife passed away, he realized he had never truly made decisions for himself. His entire existence had revolved around compromise, from where they lived to what they ate to how they spent their free time. When he finally experienced real independence, he uncovered something unexpected. He had never known the simple joy of waking up without obligations, without a schedule dictated by another person's needs, and without the pressure to justify his choices. It was a newfound sense of liberation that he had unknowingly yearned for his entire life. Many older couples grapple with this reality. Even in happy relationships, there is an expectation to check in, coordinate plans, and adjust your schedule to accommodate another person. This isn't about resenting your partner. It's about acknowledging just how much personal freedom fades in a shared life. The spontaneity of deciding to travel, exploring new hobbies without checking in, or even altering your daily routine without considering someone else's feelings can all slowly disappear. Then, there's the mental independence that gradually wears away. In long-term relationships, opinions merge, and personal perspectives can blur. You might not even realize how much your thought process has been shaped by years of discussions, debates, and compromises with your partner. But when you're truly on your own, you get a rare chance to reconnect with your unfiltered thoughts. You remember what it's like to make choices purely based on your happiness, rather than maintaining harmony in a relationship. Independence isn't just about living alone, it's about navigating life without unnecessary limitations. The longer you stay in a relationship, the more you unconsciously adapt and adjust. But in old age, one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself is the ability to live without those unseen restrictions, embracing your desires fully and without hesitation. If you're still watching and finding these insights meaningful, drop a comment with number 2 to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to do so and turn on notifications so you won't miss any videos. Your support allows us to continue creating valuable content to inform and inspire. Now let's continue. Number 3. The emotional fatigue that comes from relentless compromise. In the beginning, relationships bring comfort, companionship, and joy. But as time goes on, you may realize they also demand something you might no longer have the energy for: endless compromise. It's a gradual, almost imperceptible drain, one that you might not fully recognize until you experience its opposite, peaceful solitude, where every decision is yours alone. Take Robert, a 74-year-old man who spent decades in marriage. He loved his wife deeply, yet he often found himself making small sacrifices, watching movies he didn't enjoy, dining at restaurants that weren't his choice, or adjusting his daily routine to align with hers. Each of these sacrifices seemed insignificant on their own, but over time, they added up. After she passed away, he expected to feel lonely. Instead, he was surprised by an overwhelming sense of relief. For the first time in years, he could do whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted, without worrying about how it affected someone else. It wasn't that he didn't love his wife, it was simply that he had underestimated how exhausting constant compromise had become. In youth, compromise is essential. It fosters patience, understanding, and collaboration. But in old age, it becomes more of a weight. At a time in life when you should be resting, reflecting, and fully enjoying your freedom, a relationship still requires constant negotiation. You might not even recognize how much of yourself you've given up until you finally step back from always having to balance your needs with someone else's. Even the simplest aspects of life, choosing home decor, making medical decisions, turn into discussions, agreements, and sometimes disagreements. For many, this ongoing process slowly wears them down, leaving them more exhausted than they should be in their later years. The reality is, as you age, the peace of making choices without debate or resistance becomes one of life's greatest luxuries. No longer having to justify your decisions, defend your preferences, or suppress minor irritations provides a mental clarity that is invaluable. The ability to simply exist, without filtering your thoughts for someone else's approval, can be one of the most liberating experiences of all. Number 4. The hidden burden of caretaking. When people think about long-term relationships in old age, they often picture companionship, support, and enduring love. What they don't always consider is the immense responsibility of caring for a partner whose health begins to decline. And in many cases, that decline happens much sooner than expected. Take James, for example. At 77, he had been married for over 50 years. When his wife fell ill, he naturally stepped into the role of caretaker. In the beginning, it was manageable, helping with minor tasks, ensuring she took her medications, and providing emotional support. But as the months turned into years, his own health started to deteriorate. He wasn't sleeping well. He had lost weight, and his stress levels had skyrocketed. He barely had any time to focus on himself. What began as an act of love gradually became an obligation that consumed every aspect of his life. This is a harsh reality for many elderly couples. When one partner falls ill, the other often takes on the role of a full-time caregiver. While this may seem like an admirable and loving duty, the reality is that it can take a serious toll on a person's well-being. Research shows that caregivers, especially older ones, are at a higher risk of experiencing depression, anxiety, and even physical health issues due to the overwhelming demands of looking after another person. It's a role that is both physically and emotionally exhausting, leaving little room for personal freedom. The sad irony is that by the time one partner passes away, the surviving partner is often left in worse health than if they had remained alone. Even in cases where both partners are still healthy, the ongoing stress of worrying about each other, making sure the other is eating properly, attending medical appointments, and staying active can become mentally draining. Many seniors who remain single or choose to live independently later in life avoid these challenges altogether. Without the constant responsibility of managing someone else's health, they are free to focus on their own well-being, preserving their energy, maintaining their routines, and prioritizing their happiness. Loving someone is a beautiful thing, but carrying the weight of another person's declining health can be one of life's heaviest burdens. As you grow older, choosing to put your mental and physical health first may be one of the wisest decisions you make. If you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, drop a comment with number 4 to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Your support allows us to keep producing meaningful content to inform and inspire. Now let's move on. Number 5. The financial and emotional strain of late-life relationships. Many assume that having a partner in old age brings stability and comfort. But what they often fail to consider is that it can also introduce significant financial and emotional stress. The later years of life should be a time of relaxation and peace, yet for many couples, shared expenses, medical costs, and financial disagreements become a major source of tension. Take Robert, an 80-year-old widower who had spent over a decade living comfortably on his savings and pension, enjoying his freedom. But when he entered a new relationship in his mid-70s, everything changed. His new partner had her own financial struggles, and before long, he found himself covering expenses he hadn't anticipated, shared living costs, medical bills, and even helping her adult children with their financial difficulties. What had started as companionship gradually turned into an unspoken financial responsibility. Before he knew it, he was dipping into his savings just to sustain the relationship. This scenario is far from rare. Many older adults who begin new relationships later in life find their financial stability entangled with another person's circumstances. While some couples navigate this well, others experience significant stress when one partner becomes financially dependent on the other. But this isn't just about money, it's also about control, autonomy, and fairness. Beyond financial concerns, emotional strain can also arise. Disagreements over spending habits, inheritances, or medical expenses can lead to resentment. Some seniors find themselves stuck in toxic relationships, unable to leave due to financial dependence or fear of loneliness. The result? More stress, less happiness, and a sense of obligation that overshadows what should be a fulfilling final chapter of life. Conversely, those who choose to remain single often report feeling more financially secure and in control of their future. They spend money on their own terms, save without guilt, and make financial decisions that align with their best interests. There is a unique freedom in knowing that every dollar earned, saved, or spent is entirely within their control. At the end of the day, relationships in old age aren't just about love. They come with responsibilities, financial pressures, and emotional challenges that many people overlook. If financial security and peace of mind are priorities for you, choosing to stay independent might be one of the best decisions you can make. Final thoughts. As you navigate through life, the choices you make in your later years become even more significant. While many believe that having a partner is essential, the reality is that for some, it brings more stress than joy. Getting older should be about having freedom, the freedom to make your own choices, to live without unnecessary burdens, and to put your well-being first. The belief that companionship is the ultimate source of happiness isn't always true, especially when that companionship comes with obligations, conflicts, and restrictions on your independence. Take a moment to think about your own life. Are you truly living in a way that prioritizes your happiness? Are you maintaining relationships because they genuinely bring you joy? Or are you holding on to them out of routine, fear, or a sense of duty? Every person's situation is unique. However, one thing remains clear: your later years should be filled with peace, not unnecessary struggles. Whether you choose to share your life with someone or embrace independence, make sure it's because it truly enhances your happiness. Growing older isn't about conforming to societal norms. It's about making the best decisions for yourself. And sometimes, the wisest choice is letting go of what no longer benefits you. Thank you for spending time with us today. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below sharing one key takeaway from this video and how you plan to apply it to your life. Your insights matter to us, so don't hesitate to share. Reading your comments gives us inspiration and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it valuable, Please like, subscribe, and share. Your support allows us to keep creating meaningful content to inform and inspire. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.
Thank you for watching this video. Remember to leave a like to support the channel's growth and subscribe to stay updated with all the latest from Elders Health.